Alright, testing. Testing. Part 195. Transportation of the liquid pipeline. So part A scope. 0. What is the pipeline covered by this part? 195. 2. Definitions. 195. 3. What documents incorporated with the reference parts live wholly in this part? 195. 4. Compatibility necessary transportation has liquid and carbon dioxide. 195. 5. Conversion service to the subject with this part. 195. 6. Usual sensitive areas. 195. 8. Transportation has liquid carbon dioxide and pipelines constructed with the other than steel pipe. 195.9 other continental shelf pipelines. 195.10 responsibly operated with compliance with this part. 195.11 what is regulated rural gathering line, what is requirement to comply. 195.12 what requirements apply to low stress pipelines in rural areas. Subpart B annual accident river safety regulated condition reporting. 195.48 scope. 194.5 annual report. 195.50 reporting accident. 195.52 the intermediate if it's certain accidents. 195.54 accident report. 195.55 report safety related to the conditions. 195.56 filing safety related condition reports. 195.58 reporting submission requirements. 195.59 abandonment of the deactivation of set faculties. 195.60 operator assistance with investigation. 195.61 national pipeline mapping system. 195.63 office management control number assigned to the information collection. 195.64 national register of pipeline liquid natural gas operators. Subpart C design requirements. 195.100 scope. 195.101 quality metallic components other than the pipe. 195.102 design temperature. 109 195.104 variation pressure. 195.106 internal design pressure. 195.108 external pressure. 195.110 external loads. 195.111 fracture propagation. 195.1112 195.112 new pipe. 195.114 used pipe. 195.116 values. 195.118 fittings. 195.120 passage inline inspection tools. 195.22 fabricated branch connections. 195.124 closures. 195.126 lines connection. 195.128 station piping. 195.130 fabricated assembly. 195.132 design construction above ground breakout tanks. 195.135 134 CPM leak detection. Subpart D 195.200 scope. 195.202 complying with the specification standards. 195.204 inspection general. 195.205 repair, alteration, reconstruction of the above ground breakout tanks that have been serviced. 195.206 material inspection. 195.207 transportation of pipe. 195.208 welding support for the braces. 195.210 pipe location. 195.212 bending of the pipe. 195.214 general. 195.216 welder emitter joints. 195.22 2 welders welding operator qualification welder operator. 195.224 welding weather. 195.226 welding arc burns. 195.228 welding inspection standard acceptability. 195.230 welding repair removal of defects. 195.234 welding non-destructive test. 195.236.3244 reserved. 195.246 installation of pipe into the ditch. 195.248 cover over the buried pipeline. 195.250 clearance between the undertaking ground structures. 195.252 backfilling. 195.254 above ground components. 195.256 cross railroad and highways. 195.258 valves in general. 195.260 the valve locations. 195.262 pump equipment. 195.264 impoundment protection against entry of the normal entry emergency venting of the pressure vacuum relief of the above ground breakout tanks. 195.266 instruction records. Subpart E pressure testing. 300 scope. 302 general requirements. 303 risk and alternative pressure testing all the as liquid carbon dioxide pipelines. 195.304 test pressure. 103.05 testing of components. 306 testing medium pressure testing above ground breakout tanks. 307 308 testing of tie-in. 310 records. Subpart F scope. 400 401 general requirements. 402 procedural manual operation maintenance emergency. 403 emergency responding training. 404 maps and records. 405 protection against ignitions and safe access to the egress involving floating roofs. 195 406 maximum operating pressure. 195 408 communications. 195 410 line markers. 195 412 inspection right away crossing of the navigable waters. 195 413 under inspection repair of the pipeline with the Gulf of Mexico into the inlets. 195 414 through 418 reserved. 195 420 valve maintenance. 195 422 pipe repairs. 195 424 pipe movement. 195 426 scraper spheres facility. 195-428, overpressure safety devices, overfilling protective systems. 195-430, firefighting equipment. 195-432, inspection of in-service breakout tanks. 195-434, signs. 195-436, security of facilities. 195-438, smoking or open flames. 195-440, public awareness. 195-442, damage prevention program. 195 CPM leak detection. 195-446, control room management. High consequent areas. 195-450, definition. Pipeline integrity management. 195-452, pipeline integrity management. High consequence areas. Subpart G, qualification of pipeline personnel. 501, scope. 503, definitions. 505, qualification program. 507, record keeping. 509, general. Subpart H, corrosion control. 195-51, the regulation of the subpart cover. 195-55, water qualifications supervisors. 195-557, water pipelines having the coating external corrosion control. 195-559, what a coating material may use with external corrosion control. 195-567, when I must expect the pipe coating for the use of external corrosion control. 195-563, what pipelines must have the cathodic protection. 195-565, how to install cathodic protection with breakout tanks. 195-567, pipelines have to test leave. What must I do to install the maintain the leads? 195-569, do I have to examine the exposed proposed portions of the buried pipeline? 195-571, what criteria must be determined the accuracy of the cathodic protection? 195-573, what do I monitor external corrosion control? 195-575, facilities must I electrically isolate when the inspection, testing, and safeguards are required. 195-577, what must I do to alleviate the interference currents? 195-579, what must I do to mitigate the internal corrosion? 195-581, pipelines must I protect against the atmospheric corrosion with the coating material may I use? 195-583, what must I do to monitor the atmospheric corrosion control? 195-585, what must I do to corroded pipe? 195-587, what methods are available to determine the strength of the corroded pipe? 195-588, what standards apply with the direct assessment? 195-589, what corrosion control information do I have to maintain? 195-591, inline inspection of the pipes. Appendix A, Part 195, delineation between federal and state jurisdictions. State agency policy interpretation. Appendix B, Part 195, MERICS-based alternative native pressure testing older hazard liquid carbon dioxide pipelines. Appendix C to Part 195, guidance for the implementation of the integrity management program. And so Part A, 195-0, scope of the part, prescribe the safety standard with the reporting requirements of the pipeline facility use the transportation hazard liquid carbon dioxide. 195-55, 195-1, what pipelines are covered in this part, covered exemption with the pipeline listed paragraph D of the section part apply with the pipeline facility with the transportation hazard liquids carbon dioxide associated with the facility with the affected the interstate with the foreign commerce, including pipeline facility, outer column of the covered in pipelines included but are not limited to any pipeline which transport high volatile liquid, any pipeline segment across the waterway current with the commercial integration, except the gathering line with not covered in paragraph A4 of the section. Any pipeline located with the rural, non-rural area with any of the diameter regarding the less of the operating pressure, any of the following onshore gathering lines used in the transportation petroleum pipeline located in a rural area, the regulated rural gather line and provided 195 will evident. A pipeline located in inlet of the Gulf of Mexico as provided in 195-413. It would be expected that the part do not apply with any of the following: transportation has the liquid transport and gaseous state. Transportation has the liquid through a pipeline by gravity. Transportation has liquid on through any of the following low stress pipelines. A pipeline with the safety regulation of the U.S. Coast Guard. A pipeline have the service of refining material with the truck rail, the vessel terminal facilities. If the pipeline is less than 1 mile long, measured out with the side of the facility grounds, and does not cross over the offshore area with the waterway current with a commercial navigated transportation, even though petroleum through onshore rural gathering line that does not meet the definition regulated rural gathering line as provided in 195-11. The inspection does not apply with the gathering lines into the inlets for the Gulf of Mexico. 195-413. Transportation has liquid carbon dioxide in an offshore pipeline with the state of the waters, whether the pipeline is located upstream with the outflange over the flame following the farthest downstream facility. The facility with the hydrocarbon with carbon dioxide produced with the facility where produced with the hydrocarbon with the carbon dioxide first separated, dehydrated, or otherwise process. Transportation has the liquid carbon dioxide pipeline on the OCS, where the pipeline is located upstream with the point of the operation with the responsibility to transfer with the producing operator with the transporting operator. Pipeline segment upstream with the general seaward with less value the last production facility, the OCF, the pipeline of the OCS produced the operative with a cross with the state waters without the first connecting to the transporting operative facility on the OCS state. The equipment to protect the PHMSA regulated the pipelines with not excluding and producing operator with the segment following the exemption that made petition the administrative 199 after approval of the operative with the PHMSA regulation governing the pipeline design, construction, operation, maintenance, transportation has the liquid carbon dioxide through onshore production, including flow lines, refinery, manufacturing facility, storing, and plant piping system association with such planes. Transportation has the liquid or carbon dioxide by a vessel, aircraft, tank, truck, or tank car, other but non-pipeline mode of the transportation through facilities located with the ground with the material transportation terminal facilities or solution to transfer the hazardous liquid carbon dioxide between non-pipeline mode with the transportation between a non-pipeline mode. A pipeline, these facilities do not include the device associated with the piping necessary to control the pressure of the pipeline under the statute 195.406b. Transportation carbon dioxide downstream of the applicable the following point: the inlet with the compressor with the inject with the carbon dioxide with the low recovery point. Operations are point with the recycled carbon to enter the inject system, whether it's further upstream, or the connection with the first branch pipe with the pipeline out transports carbon dioxide and inject well to a header of the manifold with the pipeline pipeline branch for the injection wall breakout tank for the breakout tank with the power with must comply with the requirements of the pipeline specifically. Breakout tanks to an extent but they applicable with the requirements of the comply with the pipeline system pipeline facility. If the conflict exists between the requirement of the apply specifically breakout tank with the requirements of the apply with the pipeline system, the pipeline facility requirement for the apply specifically the breakout tanks prevail. Any hydrous ammonia breakout tanks need to comply with the 195 132b 195 205b 195 242 c and d and 195 264 b and e 195 307 195 428 c and d and e and c and d and 195 432 B and C. Definitions as used: abandoned means the permanent with the removal of the service. Administrative means the administrator of the pipeline has its material safety administration his or her delegate. Alarm means an audible visual meaning indicating with the control of the equipment process outside of the operator defined safety related parameters. Barrel means a unit of measurement that equal to 42 U.S. standard gallons. A breakout tank means the tank used to relieve the surge of the hazardous liquid pipeline system, receive the store of the hazardous liquid transported in pipeline when the reinjection and connected to the transportation by pipeline. Carbon dioxide means the fluid consists of more than 90% of the carbon dioxide molecules compressed into the supercritical state component. Components the pipeline, which may be subject to the pump, the pressure included but not limited to the pipe valve, the elbows, the teeth, and flange closures. Computation pipeline monitoring means that the software measures down the monitoring tool that alters the pipeline to dispatch with possible the pipeline operating anomaly with the misindicated with the commodity reason conform to describe the mean with one item responsible to determine the base of the information available at the operative time of the reportable event when it has occurred with even now will only based upon preliminary evaluation. Control room means the operation when the concerned staff, the personal staff with the responsibility for remotely monitoring and controlling the pipeline facility. Controller means the qualified indicated individual to remotely monitor for the control of the safety related to operation of the pipeline facility. Viva the SCADA system for the control room, who has operable operational authority accountable for remote operational function of the pipeline facility. Gross product mix of material defined 132 class D definition of chapter. Exposed underwater pipeline. The underwater pipeline when the top of the pipe is retrieved of the underwater but neutral bottom is to be recognized general except the practice in waters less than 15 feet deep that is measured with the mean low water. Flammable product, flammable liquid defined in 173 120 class 3 definition. Chapter gathering line means the pipeline with 219 219 millimeters less than normal outside of the diameter of the transfer pipe rolling through the production facility. Gulf of Mexico inlet with the water with the mean to the high water mark with the loss of the Gulf of Mexico, the inlet for the sea, but then excluding the tidal marsh, which is leaks and canal seaward and inward for the territorial sea outward canal show the depth of 15 feet of the measuring from the below the low water. As the navigation means for the purpose of the power with the pipeline, the top of the pipe is less than 12 inches below the unwatered natural bottom, as determined by the recognized general accepted practice with the water less than 15 feet deep at this measure if the mean low water. Hazardous liquid means the petroleum product that any hydrous ammonia and ethanol high volatile liquid means the hazardous liquid will form a vapor cloud with a relief to the atmosphere which has the vapor pressure exceeding 40 psi or at 37.8 Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Your inline inspection means the inspection of the pipeline with the interior pipe with the inline inspection tool called the intelligent or smart pigging inline inspection tool with the internal inspection device whether the equal not destructive instructive technique to inspect the pipeline with from the inside, also known as the intelligent smart pig. Inlet plant piping system makes the mains piping located with the ground with the plant. Use the transfer head with the liquid carbon dioxide between the plant facility and pipeline and other mode of the transportation, not including any device associated pipeline necessary for the control pressure for the pipeline on 195.406. Interstate pipeline means the pipeline with the part of the pipeline either the transport has the liquids of the carbon dioxide. Interstate with the foreign commercial. Intrastate pipeline means the pipeline part line which in start parts apply with not interstate pipeline. Line section must continue with the running between the axle and pressure pump at the station, between the pressure pump at the station terminal breakout tanks, between the pressure pump and the block valve, between the adjacent block valves. Low stress pipeline means a heavy liquid that has been operated with an entirely stress level of 20% less than the specified minimum yield strength of the line pipe. Maximum operation pressure means the maximum pressure with which the pipeline segment of the pipeline may be normally operated down with this part. Nominal wall thickness means the wall thickness listed in the pipe specification. Offshore means the beyond the line with the ordinary load with the water of the portion of the coast of the United States with the direct contact with the open sea with the beyond the marking of the sea. Word limited inward waters. Operator means the person who operates the pipeline facility or our also means of the submerged lands line seaward outward side of the area of the land between the navigational waters sea defined in section 2 of the submerged land act 43 U.S. Standard Code 1301, in which the subsoil sea apparent of the United States are subject to the jurisdiction control. Person, many individual firm of the joint venture partnership. Joint venture partnership, corporation, associated statements, municipality, cooperative association, joint stock association, including trustee with the receiver saying that the person or representative thereof, petroleum means the crude oil within the unsafe with the natural gas, liquid petroleum gas, petroleum product means the flame of the corrosive, the product obtained with the distilling process, the crude, the oil, the unfinished oil, the natural gas, liquid, that blend with the stock, the other miscellaneous hydrocarbons, pipe and line, pipe, the tube, usually also cylindrical through the hazardous liquid and carbon dioxide flow with one point to another. Pipeline or pipeline system means all of the pipeline facility with a hazardous liquid carbon dioxide with the transportation included but not limited to line pipeline with the approval of the connected line of the pumping units, fabricated assemblies associated with the pumping units, meter and delivery stations, fabricated assembly therein, and being breakout tanks. Pipeline facility means that any new existing pipe right away with any of the equipment facility building used in transportation has the liquid or carbon dioxide. Production facility means the piping equipment, the production, extraction, the recovery, lifting, stabilization, separation, treating of the petroleum, carbon dioxide, associated storage measurement. Alright. Yeah. Production facility under the definition piping equipment that must be the process of the extraction, petroleum, carbon dioxide of the ground from the facility of the CO2 with the preparation, transportation, pipeline, including the pipe between the treatment and plant with the extra carbon dioxide facilities utilized with the injection carbon dioxide, recover the operation role area of the means the outside of the limited, incorporated, unincorporated town, village, any other designated residential commercial area such as the subdivision of business, shopping center, community development. Significant stress corrosion cracking means the stress and corrosion cracking cluster in which the deepest the crack is severe with the interacting cracks greater than 10% of the wall thickness. The total interacting length of the cracks is equal to greater than 75% of the critical length of the 50% through the wall flow with the wood fail with the stress of 110%. SIMS shield specified minimum yield strength. Specified minimum yield strength expressed in PSI with the gauge described in the specification under which the materials purchased. Manufacturer stress level means the level of the change of the hoop stress that usually expressed the percentage specified yield strength. Supervisor control data acquisition or SCADA system means the computer based system with the use of the control of the controller room with collective display with the information pipeline facility may have the ability to send commands back to the pipeline facility. String and surge pressure means the pressure produced, the change of the velocity, the moving stress, the result of the shutting down of the pump station, the pumping unit with the closure of the valve, with any other blockage of the moving system. Toxic product means the poisonous material that is defined in 173-132 with the class 6 of the division 6-1 definition of the chapter. Unusual sensitive area USA, drinking water of the ecological resource of the usually unusual sensitive to the environmental damage from a hazardous liquid pipeline result and relief to defined in statute 195.6. Welder means the person who performs manual semi-automatic welding. Welding operator means the person who operates the machine automatic welding equipment. 195.3 with what documents incorporate the reference partially with the whole and part of the parts of the parts prescribed of the portion of the area incorporate the reference and part of the approval of the director of the Federal Register in Title 5 U.S. Standard Code 552A, Title 1 CFR Part 51. Materials listed in the section have the full force level to enforce the additional of the other unspecified section. PSMA must publish notice of the chain of the Federal Register of the availability of standard incorporated with the reference. All of the material incorporated by the reference are available to inspection with the several sources, including the following: the Office of Pipeline Safety, Pipeline Hazards, Material Safety Administration, 1200 New Jersey Avenue, Southeast Washington, D.C. C20590. For the more information, 202-366-4046. PHMSA, PHMSA.pipeline the National Archive of the Records Administrative for the information available to material the NARA 202-741-6030. Go to the NRA with the website www.gov the Federal Register Code Federal Regulations, IBR location, HTML, copy of the standard incorporated reference part of the purchase of the bespoke standard with the developing organization that address provided with the centralized IBR. Section below, American Petroleum Institute, 1220 L Street, North Washington, D.C. 20005. Phone number 202-6282-8000. Website api.org. API Publication 2026. Safety access egress involved in floating or roofs. Storage tank with the petroleum ship for the second edition, April 2008. IBR approved with 195-405B. API recommended 5L1 recommended in practice with the railroad transportation line pipe with the 7th edition, September 2009. IBR approved within section 195-207. API recommended 5L2 recommended practice for the truck and transportation line pipe, first edition, March 12, 2012. IBR approved with 195-207C. API recommended practice for the 5L recommendation practice for the transportation line pipe passes barges and marine vessels, third edition, September 2009. IBR approved 195-207. ANSI API recommendation practice 651 cathode protection above ground petroleum storage tanks, third edition, January 2007. IBR approved 195-565 and 195-73. ANSI API recommended practice lining of the above ground petroleum storage tank bottom, third edition, October 2005. IBR approved the 195-579. IBR recommended practice 1130 computational pipeline monitoring with liquid pipeline segment, third edition, September 2007. IBR approved the 195-134, 195-440. 444. API recommended practice 1162 public awareness program pipeline operatives, first edition, December 2003. IBR approved with 195-440 A, B, and C. API recommendation practice with 1165 recommendation pipeline scouted display, first edition, January 2007. IBR approved with 195-456. API recommendation practice with the IB 1168 the pipeline control management, first edition, September 2008. IBR approved with 195-446 and C and F. API recommended practice 2003 protection ignition arising out of static lightning stray of the current, 7th edition, January 2008. IBR approved with 195-405. API recommended practice 2350 overall protection of storage tanks. Petroleum facility, third edition, January 2005. IBR approved with 195-428. API specification FL specification of the line pipe, 45th edition, effective January 1st, 2013. IBR approved with 195-106 E. ANSI API specification 6D specification pipeline with the 23rd edition with the effective the upper October the 1st, 2008. Errata 2, errata 3, errata 4, errata 5, errata 6, addendum 1, addendum 2, addendum 3, and IBR approved with 195-165. API specification 12 specification of the shop well of the tanks for the storage petroleum production liquids. So the edition October 2008 with effective April 1st, 2009. IBR approved with 195-132, 195-205B, 195-264B and E with 195-307A, 195-565, 195-579D. API standard pressure vessel inspection in service inspection rating repairing alteration at the edition June 2006. API standard 510. API approved with 195-205. API IN 195-432. IPI standard 620 design construction large welded low pressure tank for the 11th edition, February 2008. Addendum 1, including Addendum 1, March 2010. Addendum 2, Addendum 3. ABR approved with 195-132B, 195-205B, 195-264B and E, 195-307B, 195-565, 195-579D. API storage 650 welded tanks for the oil storage, 11th edition with June 2000 with effect with the 1st 2012. Addendum 3 and IBR approved with 195-132B, 195-205B, 195-264B and E, 195-307 C and D, 195-566, 195-579D. API SAM 653 tank inspection repair alteration reconstruction 3rd edition December 2001. Including Addendum 1 September 2003, Addendum number 2005, Addendum 3 2008. Errata April 2008 API standard 653 and IBR approved with 195-205B, 195-307D, 195-432B. API standard 1104 welding of the pipelines related facility 20th edition October 2005. 5 including an error to end with the July 2008 or April 2008 API standard 1104. IBR approved the 195.214A, 195.222. A 195.228B, ANSI API Standard 2000 Venture and Atmospheric Low Pressure Storage Tank 6th Edition, November 2009. IBR approved 195.264E, API Standard 2510 Design Construction Liquid Petroleum Gas Installation Installation 8th Edition 2001. IBR approved for 195.132B, 195.205B, 195.264. B&E 195.307E, 195.428E, 195.432, API Standard 1163 Inline Inspection System Qualification System, the 2nd edition, April 2003. IBR approved 195.599, 591. ASME International 2, Park Avenue, New York, 116 800 843 27063, ASME.org, ASME ANSI B16 2007. Factory made wrought butt welding fittings December 7, 2000. IBR approved 195.118A. ASME ANSI B31G 191 reaffirmed 2004. Manual determination remaining strength of the corrosive pipes 2004. ANSI ANSI B31G IBR approved 195.452H 195.587 and 195.588. ASME ANSI B31.4 of 2006 Pipeline Transportation Liquid of the Hydrocarbons of the Liquid of October 20th, 2006. IBR approved with the 195.110, 195.452A, H, ASME A&E B31.8 2007 Gas Transmission Distribution Piping System, November 30th, 2007. IBR approved with 195.5. A 195.406 ASME Boiler Pressure Vessel Code Section 8 Division 1 Rule of the Construction Pressure Vessel 2007 edition July 1st 2007 IBR approved with 195.124 195.307E ASME Boiler Pressure Code Section 8 Division 2 of the Alternation Rule, the Rules of the Construction Pressure Vessel 2007 edition July 1st 2007 IBR approved with 195.307E ISB ASME Boiler Pressure Vessel Code Section 9 Qualifications. Standard welding brazing with the perceived welded braze of the welding brazing operated 2007 July 1st 2007 IBR approved 195.222A American Society of the NASA to the PO Box 28518 11711 at Arlingate Lane, Columbus, Ohio 43228. ANST.org, ANSI, ANST, ILPQ 2005-2010 Inline Inspection Personal Qualification Certification reapproved October 11, 2010. IBR approved the 195.591 Reserve American Society Testing Material 100 Bar Harbor Drive, the PO Box C700 with West Conshohocken, PA 119428, phone number 610-832-9585 or ASTM.org. ASTM A53A53M10 Solicitation Pipe Steel Black and Hot Dip the Encoded Welded Seamless approved the October 1st 2010. ASTM A53A53M IB approved 195.106, ASTM A106 A016M 10 standard seamless carbon steel pipe with a high temperature surface approved the open wars. The IBR approved with 195.106, ASTM A33 A303 A33 A333 A333 M11 specification seamless welded steel pipe with low temperature surface approved with April 1st 2011. IBR approved with 195.106. ASTM A381 96 with reapproved 2005 standard specification metal arc welding steel pipe with the high pressure transmission system approved with the October 1st 2006. IBR approved 195.106. ASTM A61 M10 with the standard specification electrical fusion steel welded steel pipe with the atmospheric low temperature approved with April 1st 2010. IBR approved the 195.106. ASTM A6672 the standard specification electrical fusion steel pipe high pressure surface with moderated temperature approved with October 2009. IBR approved that 195.106. ASTM A691 M09 specification carbon alloy steel pipe the electrical fusion welded. Alright, high pressure surface with a high temperature approved with the October 1st 2009. IBR approved with 195.106 the manufacturer standards of Society with valve platings of the industry they incorporated with 127th Park Street northeast of Virginia 22-1-800 22-108 22-180 phone number 703-281-6613 www.mss.headquarters.org MSS SP 75 2008 Standard Practice Specification High Test Wrought Butt Welding Fittings 2008 edition. IBR approved the 195-118A reserved in the NACE International 114 1340 South Creek Drive, Houston, Texas 77084. Phone number 281-228-622-3800, 797-6223. Web NACE.org. Publication NAC SPO 0169 2000. Standard practice. Corrosion external underground submerged metallic piping system free from March 15th. NASCE SPO 1069 IPR approved at 195 571 195 573. NASI SPO 502 with 200 2010. Standard practice. Pipeline external corrosion direct assessment methodology June 24 2010. IBR approved 195 588. B. NASCE SP 0102 2010. Standard practice. Inline inspection pipeline revised March 12 2010. IBR approved 195 591. NASC SPO 204 2008. Standard practice. Stairs corrosion cracking direct assessment methodology reaffirmed in September 18, 2008. IBR approved of 195 588. National Fire Protection Association 1 Battery March Mark of the Quincy, Massachusetts 02169. Phone number 617-984-7275 or NFPA.org. NFPA 30 flammable and combustible liquid codes, including Aerate 3012-1, Aerate 3012-2, 2012 edition, copyrighted 2011. IBR approved of the 195. 264. Reserve Pipeline Research Council International Incorporated and Co-op Technical Toolbox 3801 Kirby Drive Suite 520 PO Box 980550 Houston, Texas 77098. Phone number 713-630-0505. Toll free 866-866-6766 and the httoolbox.com. AGA Pipeline Research Committee Project PR 3805 modified. Criteria with evaluation remaining strength of the corroded pipe to December 22nd, 1989. IBR approved 195 452, 195 587, 195 588. Reserved 195 on board. Compatibility necessary for the transportation has liquid carbon dioxide. No person may transport has liquid carbon dioxide unless it has liquid carbon dioxide chemical compatible with both the pipeline, including components and any other commodity that may come in contact with while the pipeline. 195 conversion of the surface of the subject of the steel pipe of the previously used. The surface is not subject to this part with the qualifying under the part of the operator of the permits prepares following the written procedure the company the following design, construction, operation, maintenance. The history of the pipeline must be reviewed. Wherever the sufficient history record is not available, the appropriate tests must be performed to determine the pipeline satisfactory condition, safe to operation, and one of the more variables necessary to verify the design practice under 195-106 to perform the testing under paragraph A4 with the section unknown. The design pressure may be verified. The maximum operation pressure to determine the testing of the pipeline according to the ASME ANSI B318. The incorporated reference 195.3b appendix N to produce the stress equal the yield strength and apply not more than 80% of the first pressure for the producing yield, and the design factor F of the 195 106A of the appropriate factor for the 195 106E. Pipeline right away with all the above down segments. Pipelines appropriately selected the underground segment if they may be visually inspected and physical defects. Operation condition when reasonable. Could be expected impaired with the strength and tightness of the pipe, and also an unknown safety defect. The condition with the main correctly in accordance with the part of the pipeline must be tested in accordance with the subpart. Even the part with substantial maximum operating pressure permitted with the 195.4. The pipeline qualifies to use of the section not needed to comply with the corrosion control requirements. Subpart 8 of the part with 12 months after the plate for the surface does not withstand the any pressure for the deadline compliance. Each operative must keep the lifeline over the pipeline with the record for the investigation, testing, repair of the plate, and alteration made under the requirements of paragraph A of the section. Operative converting the pipeline surface not previously covered in part with notified PHMSA and 60 days before the conversion occurred with required in 195.64, 195.6. The usually sensitive areas due to the part of the usually sensitive areas of drinking water, ecological resource of the usually sensitive to environmental damage of the heads, liquid pipeline, the usually sensitive areas of drinking water resources, water intake of the community, water system, and the non-transit, non-community water system. It has obtained the water supply with primarily for the source of the water. Source does not have the adequate alternate drinking water source water protection area in the community water system and the non-community water system that they obtain the water supply with the Class 1, Class 2A with the aquifer does not have the adequate alternative drinking water source which has stated not yet identified in the welded head protection area. The wellheaded protection area will be used until the state identified with the state wellhead protection area or the sole source of the aquifer. Reach over the source of the aquifer is carved for the aquifer in nature. The unusual sensitive area is ecological resource of the area containing the critical impaired ecological community from multiple species. The assembly areas integrated with the water bird concentration area containing the imperial space threatened with endangered species. They believe that the marine mammal species, the imperial ecological community, where the specific communities are adequate depending on the terrestrial with limited range. Area containing imperiled special species, the threatened with the endangered species, the depleted marine mammal species, the imperial ecological community, where the specific community occurrence is considered to be one of the most viable, high quality, and the best condition identified by the electrical currents rating of the excellent quality B for the good quality as we use the adequate alternative drinking water source means the source of the water that has been currently exists been used almost immediately with a minimal amount of the after the cost involved with no decline in the water quality will mean the consumptive hygiene, the firefighting requirements of the existing population impact customers at least 1 month of the surface of the water, at least 6 months after the groundwater source. Aquatic and aquatic dependency species of the community means the species community of the primary group of the aquatic marine wetland habitats as well as the species that made with the terrestrial habitats during all the summer of the portion of the life of the bird still close the associated dependent upon the aquatic marine wetland habitat some of the critical portion of the life history of the production, rearing and development of the feeding tube, class 1 aquifer means the aquifer superficial, shallow, permeable, high vulnerable contamination. Class 1 aquifers include unconsolidated aquifers. Class 1A consists of superficial and unconsolidated permeable alluvial terraces, outwash beach, dune, and other similar deposits. The aquifer generally contain the layers of the sand of the gravel, commonly interbedded with some of the degree with the soil and clay. Not all Class 1A aquifers are important. The water-bearing units are likely to be both permanent and vulnerable. The only natural protection of the aquifer is the thickness of the unsaturated zone of the presence of the fine-grained material. Soluble fractured bedrock aquifers. Class 1B lithoalgaes can include limestone, dolomite, locally evaporitic containing documented character feature of the solution channels regardless of the size. Generally, the aquifers have the wide range of the permeability and is also included the side of the sedimentary strata with the metaphoric igneous and extrusive of the rocks. The significant faulted, fractured, jointed, in all cases of the groundwater movement is largely controlled by the secondary openings. Well, yields range widely, but an important the feature promotes potentially rapid vertical and lateral groundwater movement that, along with preferred pathways, result in a high degree of vulnerability. Semi-consolidated aquifers in Class 1C generally contain poorly moderated indurated sand about gravel that's interbedded with clay and so, this group of the intermediate with the consolidated member of the system of the common territory age rock that is exposed throughout the Gulf of the Atlantic coastline states and the semi-consolidated conditions also arise present with the intercalated clay with cassonade and permanently unassociated to poor consolidated units of the curve of the high plains aquifer. Covered aquifers Class 1D with the aim of the Class 1 aquifer overlaying with them 50 feet of low permeable unconsolidated materials such as glacial till Lucretian Loess deposits. Class 2 aquifer, Class 2 1 2A of the aquifers of high yield bedrock aquifers consolidated moderately vulnerable to contamination. The aquifer generally is a fairly permeable sandstone conglomerate. Those contain lesser amounts of interbedded fine grade with the shale with the siltstone, mudstone, and occasional carbonate units generally yield much because the 50 gallons per minute include the class local fracturing may contribute to the dominant promontory porosity of the permeable of these systems. Community water system meaning the public water system and serve at least 15 serve the connection of year-round resident around the resident regular service of at least 25 year-round. Your critical imperiled species ecological community meaning that any habitat means any habitat animal plant species the ecological meaning of the extremely rarity of the based on the natural conservancy the global conservation status rock. There are generally 5 or fewer countries of the view of the remaining individuals less than 1,000 acres, less than 2,000 specified ecological communities extremely vulnerable to extinction due to some natural man-made factor. The depleted marine mammal species, the species they have been identified with the Protect the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972, amended the term depleted refers to the marine mammal species listed threatened and endangered also before below there of the optimal sustainable population. The term marine mammal, the meaning of the mammal, which is morphologically adapted to the marine environmental, includes the sea out of the members of the order serene, Pinidia, and Cetacea, and Cetacea inhabit the marine environment, such as the polar bear was for Title 16 U.S. Standard Code 1362. The order of Serenia include the Maniads and other Pinidium include seals and sea lions, walruses, and order. The set of lions include dolphins, porpoises, and whales. Ecological meaning the interacting the assemblage of the plant of the animals with recurring with a similar environmental conditions across the landscape. Element occurrence of the rank means the condition of availability of the space of the ecological community occurring based on the population size condition, landscape of the contents of the eco element occurrence of the rank with a sign with the natural heritage program, the ecological rank of the means of the quality of the ecological rank of the bee means good quality. Imperial species for the ecological community. Habitat means for the rare species for the ecological community based on the natural conservation is global. Conservation status rank there are generally 6 to 20 per current with a few remaining individual 1,000, 3,000, or acres of 2016 or 10,000 in the species. Ecological communities are vulnerable extinction due to some of the natural man-made factor. Of course, aquifer means aquifer that is composed of limestone dolomite with a porosity derived from the connected slow evolution. Its gravity, the crass aquifers often carbonous high rates of flow, migratory water booth concentration with a designated Ramsar site with a Western Hemisphere shorebird reserve network, multi-species assemblage area, the means the area with three or more different critical imperial species. Ecological community threatened and endangered species depleted the marine mammal, the migratory water booth concentration occur non-transit. Community water system means a public water system regulatory surface of at least 25 same person for the 6 months per year. For example, these systems include the schools, factories, hospitals that their own water supply. Public water system means a system that provides public water human consumption for the pipe of the other constructed fancy. Such systems will leave at least 15 surface connection regulation the average at least 25 individuals daily, at least 60 days out of the year. The system included the source of the water supply, surface of the ground pipe, public water system may be community non-transit, non-community non-transit, non-community system. Ramsar site may means the site that has the designated with the Convention of the Wetland of International Importance, especially water flow with the habitat program. Ramsar site with the globally critical wetlands and with the support of the migratory water flow will include the wetland area of the regulatory 20,000 water flow wetlands through the regulatory support for the substantial number of the individual particular group of the waterfowl that indicated wetland values protected diversity in the wetland area with the regulatory support of 1% of the individual population, one species of subspecies waterfowl. Our sole source aquifer means this designed with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the sole source aquifer program. Sole principle of the description drink of the water of the area. The designation of the aquifer groundwater so applies 50% more of the drinking the water to the area of the aquifer water were to become contaminated with the purpose of the public health hazard of the soil, the swim, the water, the aquifer, the cars, the noise, for the one exposed with the limestone, where the porosity of the drive with the connected with the solution of the cavity, they often have their cavernous with the high rates of flow. Source water protection, SWPA, with the meaning of the delineated will save the public water system or included numerous public water system, whether the source of the groundwater, surface of the water, or both of it's part of the shape of the source of the assessment program, or swap. We're proof of the environmental Agency Section 453, safe drinking water species, the means of species, subspecies, population, stock from the distinct vertebrate population, terrestrial ecological community with a limited range, maybe the non-aquatic, depending on the ecological community that covers less than 5 acres, terrestrial species, the limited range, maybe the non-aquatic, depending on the animals, plant with the species, the range for the no more than 5 acres, threatening change of the species, the animal, plant with the species that have been listed and protect with the nature of change of species. The Act of 1973 amended an endangered species as defining species that would endanger existence through the significant portion of the range. Threatened species define any species which is likely to be endangered. Species within the foreseeable future throughout all the significant portion of the range. Title 16 U.S. General Code 1532, the Transit Non-Community Water System means the public water system does not regularly serve at least 25 some same person of the 6 months of the per year of the type of the water of the system. Serve the transit population found in the red stop of the campground, the restaurant, the park with their own surface of the water well-headed protection area, the means of the surface of the subsurface area with around well field, the supply of the public water system through the contaminants or close, likely to have to eventually reach the water well of the well field. Western Hemisphere shorebird reserve network. So that means the area containing migratory shorebird concentration of the habitats is the hemispheric reserve of the international reserve, regional reserve, and endangered species reserve. Hemispheric reserves host at least 500,000 shorebirds annually. 30% of the species of the flyaway population. International reserve hosts 100,000 shorebirds annually. 15% special species flyaway population. Regional reserve hosts 20,000 shorebirds annually. 5% species flyaway population. Endangered species reserve and critical of the survival of the endangered species. No minimum number of birds is required. 195 transportation of hazardous liquid carbon dioxide pipeline constructed with other steel pipe. No person to transport with the hazardous liquid carbon dioxide through the pipe constructed on October 1st, 1970. Hazardous liquids and after July 12, 1991. Carbon dioxide material other than steel unless the person is notified of the administrative writing at least 90 days before the transportation is begin. Notified must state whether the carbon dioxide or hazardous liquid is to be transported with the chemical name of the common name of the property of the character of the hazardous liquid is to be transported material used in construction of the pipeline administration. To determine the transportation had the liquid carbon dioxide may throw the unduly have the will and within 90 days have to receive the notice other than person give the notice the written the notice the transportation has the liquid carbon dioxide proposed manner Until further notice, 159, 195-9, Outer Continental Shelf Pipeline, Outer Operations Transportation Pipeline, Outer Continental Shelf, to identify the respective pipeline specific component of the operation responsibility transfer, producing operative for the instance of whether the transfer point is not identifiable during marble, each of the operative will have the September 15, 1998. 5. Identify the transfer point with non-practicable, the durable part with a mark of the transfer point with the transfer point located above the water. Operator must depict the transfer schematic maintained with the near of the transfer point. The transfer point is located with the subsea. The operator must identify the transfer point with the schematic that must be maintained with the nearest upward stream facility from the arrival of the PHMSA. Upon request for indicate the additional operators now give the transfer point with the September 5th, 1998. The regional director of the MMS regional service will make with the determination of the transfer point. 195-10 responsible for the operator with the complying with the part of the make arrange with another person to perform any of the action required for the part of the operator is not thereby relied the responsible for complying with any requirements of this part. 195.11 Women's regulated rural gathering land requirements will apply with each of the operator regulated rural gathering land defined in paragraph A section must comply with the safety requirements described in paragraph B of the section definition that even the section regulated rural area gathering onshore gathering in a rural area with the meets all the following criteria that has nominal diameter of 6.58 and 565 eighth of an inch to 8.5 of an inch is located 1/4 of the mile, usually unsensitive the area that was divided in 195.6. Operated with the maximum pressure for the operator under the 195.4 with corresponding to a stress level greater than 20% of the use specific medium yield strength of the line pipe. If the stress level unknown of the pipeline is not constructed, seal pipe pressure the more than 125 psi gauge. Safety requirements. Each of the operator must prepare the following container written procedure carry out the requirements of the section except for the requirements of paragraph B2 with the B3, B9, B10 with the section safety requirements applied to material construction identified with the segment of the pipeline material meeting the criteria of the paragraph A with the section in April 3rd, 2009. For steel pipeline constructed for replacement located otherwise chain with the July 3rd, 2009 design installed for construction initially inspect with the initial testing of the pipeline complying with the part with unless the pipeline is converted 195.5 from non-steel pipelines constructed for July 3rd, 2009. Notify the administrator according to 195.8 with the beginning with no later than January 3rd, 2009. Comply with the reporting requirements of Subpart B with the power establishes maximum operating pressure for the pipeline according with 195.4 cycle before transportation begin with the pipeline as if the day of July 3rd, 2008 before July 3rd, 2009. Install line marker of the begins with the according to the 195.410 with the before the transportation begin with the pipeline as if it was July 3rd, 2008 but before July 3rd, 2009. Continue with the maintain line marker with the contain with the comply with 195.410 established with continuing publication education program to comply with 195.440 with the before transportation begin with the pipeline as if July 3rd, 2008 before January 2010. Continue to carry out such program compliance 195.440 establish the damage prevention compliance 195.442 before transportation begin with the pipeline as if January 3rd, 2008 before July 3rd, 2009. Continue to carry out the program in compliance 195.442 with the sale pipelines comply with the subpart H for the part with the extrusion with control of the time record of the pipeline as if July 3rd, 2008 with the July 3rd, 2011 for the sealed pipeline to establish the following comprehensive effect of the program. The continuous identify the operating program. For the continued contributed internal corrosion of the program must include the measure to prevent the mitigated internal corrosion such as the cleanliness of the pipeline and using inhibitors. Program must establish the before transportation begin with the pipeline as if it's July 3rd, 2008, before July 3rd, 2009 to comply with the operative with qualification program according with the subpart G of the power program or the written with the description of the process for you to carry out the requirements of 195.505 to determine the qualifications for person performing the qualification maintenance task of the process must be established before the transportation begins for the pipeline exhibit July 3rd, 2008 before July 3rd, 2009. New, usually unusual sensitive areas of the July 3rd, 2008. New unusual sensitive areas identified in the second of the pipeline become the regulated with the resolve of the requirement of the paragraph B9 through B10 of the section. The operator must implement requirements of paragraph B10 through B2 through B11 section for the affected segment within 6 months of the identification for the steel pipeline. Comply with the identified deadline for the paragraph B9 through the B10 record retention. The operation must maintain the record demonstrate the compliance with each of the requirements according with the following schedule. The operator must maintain the second identification records required in B1 with the section records required to comply with the B10 with the section with the live of the pipe. An operator must maintain records necessary for the demonstrate the compliance with each of the requirement paragraph B2 for the B3 line, B11 in the section according to the record retention requirements of the reference section subpart 195.12. The requirements apply with low stress pipelines for all areas. General section set forth the requirements each of the category low stress pipeline rural areas set forth in paragraph B of the section. Section does not apply with the rural low stress pipeline regulated under this low stress pipeline crosses waterway currently under the commercial navigation. These pipelines are regulated pursuant 195A2 the categories operated with the rural low stress pipeline that may be applicable requirements of compliance deadline for the category pipeline. So forth in paragraph C with the section purpose of the section rural low stress pipeline category 1, 2, or 3 pipeline based on the criteria. A Category 1 low pressure pipeline has nominal diameter of 5 of an inch or more. It's located within 1/2 of a mile of the unusual sensitive area that's defined 195.6. Operated with a maximum pressure estimated 195.406, which corresponds to stress level equal to less than 20% of the specified minimum yield strength of the length of the pipe. Line pipe within stress level unknown with the pipeline not constructed with a steel pipe with pressure equal to less than 125 psi gauge. A Category 2 roll pipeline has nominal diameter of 5 of an inch, located with 1/2 of the mile of the usually sensitive area of the use defined 195.6. That operates the maximum pressure established 195.4, corresponding stress level equal to 20% of the specified minimum yield strength of the line pipe. Is to the stress that is level unknown with the pipeline not constructed with the steel pipe pressure equal to less than 125 psi gauge. The standard 3 rural low stress pipeline have the nominal diameter on each side of the located with 1.5 mile with the usual sensitive area to define 195.6 and operates the maximum pressure that established 195.406 with the corresponding stress level equal to less than 20% of the specified minimum yield strength of the line pipe. The stress level unknown with the pipeline is not constructed and the pressure will equal less than 125 psi. Applicable requirements of the line that comply with the operator must comply with the following: complying with the day, depending on the category pipeline, determine the criteria of the paragraph B, and operating with the category 1 pipeline must identify all the segments of the pipeline, the criteria of the paragraph B1 of the section April 3rd, 2009, beginning no later than January 3rd, 2009, comply with the reporting of the requirements of Part B of the identified identified segments. The IM requirements to establish a written program to comply with 195.452 before July 3rd, 2009, ensure the integrity of the pipeline segment that continue to carry out such program compliance with 195.452. An operator may conduct the determination 195.452A with the lieu of the 1/2 mile buffer. Complete with a baseline assessment. All segments in accordance with 195.452A with the before C before July 3rd, 2015. Complete with the least of the 50% of the assessment at the beginning with the highest rate of the pipe of the January 3rd, 2012. Comply with all other safety requirements part of the except for the subpart H of the July before July 3rd. 2009, comply with the requirements of H of the July 3rd, 2011, operate with the Category 2 pipeline, identify all the segments of the pipeline, criteria of the paragraph B2 of the section July 3rd, 2012, beginning no later with January 3rd, 2009, comply with the reporting requirements of Subpart B with the identified segments. I am established the written IM program that comply with 195.452, October 1, 2012, with the integrity of the pipeline segment that continue to carry out the such program that is 195.452. Operator may conduct the determination improve with 195.452A with a 1/2 mile buffer. Complete baseline accepting the segment all segment in accordance with 195.450C before October 1st, 2016. Complete at least 50% of the assessment, beginning with the highest level pipe of the April 1st, 2012. Comply with all the safety requirements of the part with except for the Subpart H for the October 2012. Comply with Subpart H the part of the October 1st, 2014. Operative with the Category 3 pipeline. Identify all segments of the pipeline leading the criteria of the paragraph B3 of the section before January 1st, 2012. Beginning no later than January 3rd, 2009. With comply with the reporting of the requirements of Subpart B identified segment A3 with the comply with the safety requirements of the part with except for the requirements of 195.452 Subpart B with the requirements of Subpart H before October 1st, 2012. Comply with Subpart H of the part with that before October 1st, 2014. Economic compliance of burden with the operating with the notify the PHMSA according to 195.452B and with the situation meeting the following criteria the pipeline Category 1 low stress pipeline carries carried crude oil with the production facility pipeline within operates flow rate less than equal to 14,000 barrels per day. They operated with the determined wood with the abandoned shutdown of the pipeline result of the economic burden. They comply with the assessment of the requirements of 195.452 1D and 194.452J. A notification submitted under the provision must include the minimum following the information about the pipeline is operating with the maintenance leak history with the estimate of the comply with the integrity of the assessment requirement, the brief description of the base for the estimate of the estimated amount of the production effective within wells per year, whether the wells ship an alternative transportation and alternative transportation will be used the estimated cost to do so. When operator notify the PHMSA according to the paragraph D1 of the section PSMH will comply with 195.452 1D with 195.452 J3 complete with the notification. PHMSA can unsolve the Department of Energy appropriately with the help of the analysis of the potential energy impact loss of the pipeline based on the analysis. PHMSA may grant the operator with a special permit allow the construction continued operation pipeline subject to the alternative safety requirements. Change unusual sensitive areas after June 3rd, 2008 with the Category 1 roll low stress pipelines. October 1st, 2011 the Category 2 roll low stress line pipelines operated with identified the new unusual sensitive area of the segment of the pipeline to meet the criteria of the paragraph B the section Category 1, 2 and roll low air stress pipeline operator to comply with the IM program requirement of the paragraph C1, 3A and C2, 3A of the section appropriate within 12 months of the following date with the identified regardless of the prior categorization pipeline complete with the baseline assessment requirement C1, 3, C with the C2, 3C with the section appropriate according with the schedule of the 195.452D to change the boundary of the unusual sensor of the area covered the Category 1, Category 2. Pipeline segment no longer within 1.5 mile of the unusual sensitive area. Operator must continue to comply with the paragraph C13 with the paragraph C23 of the section applicable with respect to the segment unless the operator determined that the reach of the pipeline could not affect the unusual sensitive area. Record retention. Operator must maintain the record to demonstrate the compliance with the requirements of the applicable category pipeline according to the following schedule. Operator must maintain the segment identification record of the paragraph C11, C21, C31 section of the life of the pipe. For the segment identification record, the operator must maintain the records necessary to demonstrate the compliance with each of the applicable requirements for the step 4 of the paragraph C of the section according record retention requirements of the reference section. Subpart B, annual accident safety related condition reporting.